Jingle, jingle, friends. Welcome to Harmony Hills Home and Garden. We're here for the holiday season. We're going to be doing a very simple craft project today. We're going to make some stars out of string. Come with me and let's see how easy this is to do. Our supply list is super simple. You need some star shapes. I just printed these on my computer. You need some pins, straight pins, and these particular ones are stainless steel so that they won't rust when they get wet. You need a magic marker, you need some tape, you need some sort of string. I'm using this cotton thread that I found at, I believe, Home Goods, I think. It's got some silver strands inside. It's kind of sparkly, but you could also just use plain white. You could use yarn, you could use twine, you could use jute string. The possibilities are endless. And then you just need some white glue. I'm using tacky glue, Aleene's tacky glue, but you could use Mod Podge or even just Elmer's or any other glue that you can get at the dollar store. And then you need some cardboard. You could also use styrofoam if you don't have any cardboard. The first step of this project is to get some stars drawn onto the cardboard. And the way I chose to do it was to print out some stars from the computer and then transfer their shape onto the cardboard with a Sharpie. I started by cutting out the stars precisely, but then I realized all I had to do was just get the points onto the cardboard and then I could connect them myself. Now, if you draw really good stars, you don't have to do it the way I did it, just draw your really good stars, but mine always end up wonky, so I liked having these templates from the computer that I could use as the basis. I just made as many stars as my cardboard would fit. The next step is to cover the cardboard with something so that the water and the glue that we're going to use don't ruin it. So I'm using some clear packing tape and I'm just laying out strips overlapping so that the entire piece of cardboard is covered and protected. Now it's time to put the pins into the cardboard. So on each point of the star I push in my T-pin and I just want to make it nice and sturdy and solid in there. And then I do this for all of the stars of every size. It's kind of important to use stainless steel pins if you can, because the water that is going to be on the strings could rust your pins if they're not stainless steel. And then your stars have a little bit of rust color on them and your pins are ruined. And now it's time to make our glue solution. I'm using tacky glue, but you can use any white glue and just mix some water in. The more glue you use, the stiffer your product will be in the end. The more water, the less stiff it will be. And now comes the fun part, or as some would say, the messy part, which for me is the same thing. So I take this cotton string with a little bit of silver in it off of the spool. And so I'm measuring how much string I need for each of my stars. So I need 5 lengths of the star from point to point like this. And once I have that measured out 5 times, then I know the total length of one wrap around the star. So now I need to measure out 4 times around the star. So however long those 5 sides were, I multiply that by 4 and I get that much string off of the spool. Now I want to dip all of this string into the glue solution. And the reason I'm taking such care to do it this way is because I didn't want the string to get tangled up in the glue as it was soaking, and more importantly, as I was pulling it out after it had soaked. So I get the string all in there and I let it soak up that water and glue mixture, and then I start pulling it out. Now as I'm pulling it, I'm kind of squeezing it so that the water and glue gets a little bit wrung out of this cotton string. Okay, so that's good. So I'm just going to put this wet string, it's got glue and water in it, on the table and start wrapping. Now I do leave a few inches at the end for a hanger, but I wrap it around the pins just in a star shape. And I try to keep this strings low down toward the cardboard so that they don't rise up and pull the pins out. I just wrap it around that star shape, pushing it down as I need to as it goes. After a couple of times around the star points, I try to make sure that the strings are always touching each other so that the glue will hold them together when they're dry. And now I'm down to the last bit of string and it's not enough to go all the way around another point. So I just wrap that tail into one of the sides of the string and hope that it will glue itself to itself when it dries. And that's the first one started. So now I'm just repeating the process for the rest of the stars that I want to make today. My fingers got pretty sticky and I had to remake my glue solution a couple of times. But otherwise, it was a pretty simple craft. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there, and now I just need to leave these to dry. You probably want to leave them overnight just to be sure. I came back the next day and I pulled out all the pins. And when you do that, sometimes the stars are sticky a little bit onto the cardboard, but it's alright. Each of the stars now is stiffened into its new shape. So I just continue pulling out all the pins and releasing all of the stars from the cardboard. Now it's time for the last phase of this project, and again, this involves a glue mixture, glue and water, and more string. So I'm just pulling out a long length of string. I didn't measure anything, I just used an estimate based on what I had done with the original forms. So I've got some string out, and I'm going to soak it in the water and wring it out just like I did before. And now it's time to wrap this wet, gluey string around one of the stiffened star forms. I start by making a hanging loop using the new string tied on to the string that I had started out with when I first made the form. Just make a simple knot up at the top. And now I'm just wrapping this moistened, glued string around the star form. And it's really kind of random. You want to keep it taut, but you don't want to pull the star out of shape. So just wrapping and randomly going around the different points, crossing over the main center body, crossing over the area in the points themselves, and just really making it a random wire wrapped kind of a look, or in this case, a string wrapped kind of a look. You want things to be kind of even across the star. You don't want one point to have a lot more string coverage than another. Now, as I was doing this, my original star form started to get wet and started to get bendy. So I had to take care not to pull the new string too tightly. When I got to the end of the new string, I just went around to what I imagined would be the back of the star, and I tucked the end underneath something that had already been wrapped. Once the wrapping is done, it needs to dry again overnight. But there you have it, a simple string star, so easy to make. Now it's just a matter of repeating this process with all of the star forms that I had made. Now there's all kinds of ways that you can decorate these kinds of stars. You can add beads, you can use a more decorative string or yarn, you could use wire, you could add glitter, there's just any number of ways you could add to the beauty of these ornaments, but I kind of like them simple this way. And there you have it, friends, several super cute little star ornaments that I'll be able to use in our home decor this holiday season. This is a great project to do with kids, with friends, or just for a little quiet time of your own. I hope you enjoy, and I hope to see you again in another video real soon. Happy holidays, friends.